Captain Jinwoo Kim stood at the observation deck of Harmony's Edge, watching 3 massive alien ships approach the space station. His hands were steady, but his mind raced. Today would change everything. The most powerful warrior races in the galaxy were coming to meet humans for the first time. Dr. Hyejin Park joined him at the window. She carried a tablet full of notes about alien biology and culture. "Are you ready for this?" she asked. Jinwoo nodded. As ready as anyone can be for making history. The first ship belonged to the Vorthak. It looked like a giant metal snake covered in spikes. The second ship was from the Kythera. It resembled a massive insect with sharp wings that could cut through asteroids. The third ship came from the Zalani. It was made of living crystal that pulsed with strange light. These 3 races had never lost a war. They had conquered hundreds of worlds. They ruled vast empires across the galaxy. And now they were coming to talk peace with humans. "Why do they want to meet us?" Jinwoo asked, though he already knew the answer. "Because they're afraid," Hyejin said quietly. "Earth is what they call a death world. They think anyone who can survive there must be incredibly dangerous." Jinwoo almost laughed. Humans dangerous? Sure, Earth had some tough weather and wild animals, but humans had learned to live with it. They had turned a challenging planet into a home. They had created art, music, and food. They had built cities and families. The alien ships docked one by one. Jinwoo and Hyejin went to the main hall to wait. The ceiling was high and painted with stars from different worlds. Tables were set with flowers from Earth. Everything looked peaceful and welcoming. The Vorthak delegation entered first. Commander Thextar led them. He was 8 feet tall with scales that changed color when he moved. His eyes were bright yellow and never stopped watching. Behind him came 5 other Vorthak warriors. They all wore armor that looked like it could stop laser blasts. "Welcome to Harmony's Edge," Jinwoo said with a bow. "I am Captain Jinwoo Kim. This is Dr. Hyejin Park." Commander Thextar's scales turned dark red. In Vorthak culture, this meant surprise or fear. "You are the Deathworlders," he said in careful English. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "We prefer humans," Hyejin said with a smile. "But yes, we are from Earth." The Kythera arrived next. War Chief Morden clicked across the floor on 6 legs. His body was covered in natural armor that looked like black metal. 4 arms moved constantly, checking weapons and scanning the room. His soldiers followed in perfect formation. "Greetings, Earthborn." Morden's voice buzzed like angry bees. "We have heard stories of your world. They say nothing can kill you." "Well, that's not exactly true," Jinwoo said. "We're just good at staying alive." The Zalani came last. Admiral Grixoth moved like liquid light. His crystal body was clear blue with silver veins running through it. When he spoke, his voice rang like wind chimes. "The Death World warriors, honor us with this meeting," he said. Hyejin noticed all 3 alien leaders kept their distance. They stayed at least 10 feet away from any human. Their soldiers formed protective circles around them. Every alien in the room looked ready to fight or run. "Please sit," Jinwoo said, pointing to the prepared tables. "We have much to discuss." The aliens sat slowly. They tested their chairs first, as if expecting traps. Commander Thextar kept sniffing the air. War Chief Morden's 4 eyes moved in different directions, watching everything at once. Admiral Grixoth's crystal body pulsed with nervous energy. "Your station is peaceful," Commander Thextar said. He sounded confused. "We hoped you would feel comfortable here," Hyejin replied. "This meeting is very important to us." "Important enough to poison us?" War Chief Morden asked suddenly. Jinwoo blinked in surprise. "Poison you? Why would we do that?" "Because you are Deathworlders," Admiral Grixoth said. "Your planet kills everything. Only the strongest survive. You must be the most dangerous beings in the galaxy." Hyejin and Jinwoo looked at each other. They had not expected this. The aliens were not here to threaten humans. They were here because they were scared of humans. "We don't want to hurt anyone," Jinwoo said carefully. "We want peace." "Peace." Commander Thextar's scales turned bright. Orange. Deathworlders do not make peace, they make war. That's not true, Heejin said. Yes, Earth can be dangerous. We have storms and earthquakes. We have wild animals and poisonous plants. But we learn to live with all of it. We learn to work together. Impossible, War Chief Morden buzzed. Survival of the fittest. Only the strong live. The strong help the weak, Jinwoo said. That's how we all survive. The aliens looked confused. This was not what they expected to hear from Deathworlders. Admiral Grixoth leaned forward. You speak of cooperation, but your world, we have seen the reports. Acid rain that melts metal, storms that destroy cities, creatures that hunt in packs. How do you live? We adapt, Heejin said. We build shelters from the storms. We grow food despite the challenges. We take care of each other. And we share what we have, Jinwoo added. In fact, we would like to share a meal with you tonight. A feast to celebrate. This meeting, the room went completely silent. All three alien leaders stared at the humans. Their soldiers shifted nervously. A feast? Commander Thextar whispered. His scales turned pale white. You want to feed us? War Chief Morden's forearms trembled. Deathworlder food? Admiral Grixoth's crystal body flickered like a broken light. Traditional food from our world, Jinwoo said proudly. Our chef has prepared something special. The aliens looked at each other with terror in their eyes. A Deathworlder feast, food from a planet that killed everything. They had come here expecting threats and weapons. Instead, the humans wanted to feed them. Commander Thextar tried to speak 3 times before words came out. This feast, it is safe? Of course, Heejin said. We eat it all the time. Because you are Deathworlders, War Chief Morden said weakly. Because it's delicious, Jinwoo said. The aliens did not understand. Deathworlders talked about food being delicious, not deadly. They spoke of sharing and caring, not conquest and killing. These humans were nothing like the galaxy expected. Admiral Grixoth finally found his voice. We accept your invitation to this feast. Wonderful. Heejin clapped her hands together. You're going to love Korean barbecue. The 3 alien leaders looked at each other again. Korean barbecue. They had never heard of it. But coming from Deathworlders, it had to be the most dangerous meal in the galaxy. They had no idea what they were about to experience. Chef So-Min Lee hummed while she worked in the station's kitchen. She had been planning this menu for weeks. Korean barbecue was perfect for a special dinner. It was interactive, social, and delicious. She had no idea that her guests thought they were about to eat poison. Pass me the gochujang, she called to her assistant. Ensign Taehyun Choi handed her the red pepper paste. Chef, are you sure about serving fermented food to aliens? What if their stomachs can't handle it? Don't worry, So-Min laughed. Dr. Park already checked their biology. I've made safe versions of everything. Besides, fermented food is healthy. It's good for digestion. In the diplomatic quarters, Commander Thextar paced back and forth. His scales kept changing colors as his emotions shifted. Fermented food, he hissed to his aide. They are going to serve us rotted food. Sir, perhaps it is a test of strength, his aide suggested. Maybe they want to see if we are worthy allies. Or they want to kill us slowly, Thextar replied. Deathworlders are clever. They make poison taste good. Down the hall, War Chief Morden was having his own crisis. He had called an emergency meeting with his soldiers. They spoke of Korean barbecue. He buzzed nervously. What does this mean? Barbecue means cooking with fire, sir, one soldier reported. They will burn their food before eating it. Morden's forearms waved in distress. Fire cooking. They eat burned food and call it delicious. No wonder they survive on a death world. Their stomachs can digest anything. Admiral Grixoth stood in his crystal chamber, his body pulsing with worried light. He was studying reports about Earth food on his computer. Kimchi, he read aloud. Fermented vegetables with bacteria. Bulgogi means fire meat. Galbi are burned ribs. His aide, a smaller crystal being, flickered with fear. "Sir, should we bring poison detectors?" "Bring everything," Grixoth commanded. "Medical scanners, antidotes, emergency transmitters. If we die tonight, the galaxy must know how dangerous these humans really are." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Mi Young-jung was helping in the kitchen. She was supposed to be handling security, but she loved cooking. "So Min, the banchan looks amazing," she said, admiring the small side dishes. "Thanks. I made 12 different kinds," So Min replied proudly. "Kimchi, namel, pickled radish, spinach salad, bean sprouts." She counted on her fingers. "The aliens are going to love trying different flavors." 12 different poisons, Taehyun whispered to himself. He was starting to worry too. Dr. Hyojin Park entered the kitchen to check on preparations. "How is everything going?" "Perfect," So Min beamed. "I've prepared bulgogi, galbi, samgyeopsal, and duck galbi, plus rice, soup, and all the banchan. It's going to be a real feast." Hyojin nodded approvingly. The aliens seemed very interested in our food culture. They asked a lot of questions about fermentation. "That's great. Fermentation is so important in Korean cooking," Somin said. "It preserves food and creates amazing flavors, plus all those healthy bacteria." If Somin had seen the alien delegations, at that moment she would have been confused. All three groups were holding emergency meetings about the upcoming biological warfare disguised as dinner. Commander Thextar was briefing his team. "Remember, Deathworlders have iron stomachs. They can eat things that would kill us instantly. Do not show weakness. Taste everything they offer, but have antidotes ready." "Sir, what if it's a trap?" asked his youngest soldier. "Then we die with honor," Thextar replied grimly. "But we will learn their secrets first." War Chief Morden was giving similar instructions. The humans claim their food is delicious. This is clearly a code word. Delicious means deadly. "We must pretend to enjoy their poison feast." "What if we actually die?" buzzed one of his warriors. "Then the Kithra will know never to trust Deathworlder hospitality," Morden said solemnly. Admiral Grixoth gathered his crystal soldiers. "We go to learn about human warfare through their food. Every dish will teach us something about their biology. Every flavor will reveal their weaknesses." "Sir, shouldn't food reveal their strengths?" asked a young crystal soldier. "On a death world, food is warfare," Grixoth explained. "They have weaponized eating." Back in the kitchen, Captain Jin-Woo Kim arrived to check on dinner preparations. "Smells incredible in here," he said with a big smile. "Wait until you taste it," So Min said. "I've been marinating the bulgogi for 6 hours. The meat is going to be so tender and flavorful." 6 hours of chemical treatment, Taehyun muttered. Under his breath, Jin-Woo noticed his aide looked worried. "Is everything okay, Taehyun?" "Sir, are we sure about serving traditional Korean food to aliens? What if they think we're trying to poison them?" Jin-Woo laughed. "Poison them? With bulgogi? That's ridiculous. Korean food is about bringing people together, sharing a meal, talking, enjoying each other's company." "But sir, they keep calling us Deathworlders," Taehyun said. "Maybe they expect our food to be dangerous. Then we'll show them that Earth food is about love, not death," Jin-Woo replied confidently. Mi Young-jung was setting up the dining room. She arranged the portable grills at each table. These would cook the meat right in front of the guests. It was interactive and fun. She had no idea that the aliens would see open flames and think of torture devices. "The tables look beautiful," Yejin said, entering the dining room. "Very welcoming." "I put fresh flowers from the Earth Garden," Mi Young said proudly. "And I made sure each table has its own grill." "Personal fire pits," Taehyun whispered to himself. "They're giving each alien group their own fire pit." Heejin noticed his pale face. "Taehyun, you look sick. Are you feeling okay?" "I keep thinking about what the aliens must be expecting," he said. "They're warriors from 3 different species. They've probably never shared a meal with Deathworlders before." "That's exactly why this is so important," Heejin said gently. "Food brings beings together. It shows we're not so different. We all need to eat. We all enjoy good flavors." "What if their idea of good flavors is different from ours?" Taehyun asked. "Then we'll learn something new," Jin-Woo said, overhearing. That's what makes first contact so exciting. Meanwhile, the alien delegations were making final preparations. Commander Thexitar strapped on extra armor under his diplomatic robes. War Chief Morden assigned each of his soldiers to watch specific humans for signs of treachery. Admiral Grixoth programmed his body to change color if he detected any toxins. Remember, Commander Thexter told his team, "We are warriors. We have faced death in battle. We can face death at dinner." The humans seemed genuinely friendly, his aide observed. "That makes them more dangerous, not less," Thextar replied. "Friendly predators are the deadliest kind." In the kitchen, So Min was putting finishing touches on the banchan. Each small dish was a work of art, colorful vegetables carefully seasoned and arranged. To her, they represented generations of Korean cooking wisdom. To the aliens waiting upstairs, they would represent 12 different ways to die. 5 minutes until service, So Min announced cheerfully. Tae-hyun took a deep breath. "Maybe I should warn the aliens about what they're about to experience." "Warn them about what?" Mi-young asked. "About how amazing Korean barbecue is? About the fire cooking, the fermented foods, the spicy sauces." "Those are the best parts," So Min exclaimed. "The fire brings out the meat's flavor. The fermented vegetables add complexity. The spicy sauces make everything exciting." Jinwoo clapped Tae-hyun on the shoulder. "Trust me, everything will be fine. Food is a universal language. Even aliens understand that sharing a meal means friendship." Little did Jinwoo know that upstairs, 3 of the galaxy's most feared warrior species were preparing for what they believed would be the most dangerous meal of their lives. They expected biological warfare. They expected poison. They expected death. What they were about to get was Korean barbecue served with love. The dining hall looked beautiful. Soft lights made everything warm and welcoming. The tables were set with white plates and metal chopsticks. Small grills sat in the center of each table, ready to cook fresh meat. Flowers from Earth's garden added color and a sweet smell to the air. Captain Jinwoo Kim and Dr. Hai-jin Park waited near the entrance. They wore simple formal clothes, Jinwoo in a dark suit, Hai-jin in a blue dress. They looked relaxed and happy. The alien delegations entered like they were going to war. Commander Thexitar came first. He wore full ceremonial armor that gleamed under the lights. His scales were dark purple, which meant he was ready for battle. Behind him, 5 Vorthak warriors marched in formation. Each one carried weapons hidden under formal robes. "Welcome," Jinwoo said with a warm smile. "Please, sit wherever you feel comfortable." Thextar's yellow eyes scanned the room like he was looking for traps. "The fire pits," he said slowly, staring at the table grills. "Oh, those are for cooking," Hyejin explained cheerfully. "We'll grill the meat right at the table. It's much more fun that way." "Fun," Thextar repeated. His voice sounded like he had never heard the word before. War Chief Morden arrived next. His black armor looked like it could stop a missile. 4 arms moved constantly, checking for danger. His soldiers spread out around the room watching every shadow. "The fire devices are at every table," he buzzed to his aide. "Each group gets their own torture station." "Torture station?" Mi-young Jung overheard. "Oh no, those are just grills, for cooking meat. It's really quite pleasant." Morden's 4 eyes focused on her. "Pleasant torture?" No, Mi-young laughed. "Pleasant cooking. The meat gets a nice char, the fat sizzles, the smell is amazing." Morden's aide whispered urgently. "She describes the burning of flesh like poetry." Admiral Grixoth glided in last. His crystal body pulsed with nervous blue light. He moved like liquid, beautiful, but clearly ready to shatter into sharp pieces at the first sign of danger. "Greetings, Admiral," Jinwoo said. "Your crystalline form is quite impressive." "Thank you," Grixoth's voice chimed like broken glass. "Your Deathworld fortress is smaller than expected." "Fortress?" Hyejin looked confused. "This is just a dining room." "A feeding chamber," Grixoth corrected himself quickly. Everyone took their seats. The humans sat naturally, chatting and pointing out details about the room. The aliens sat like they were in electric chairs. Every muscle was tense. Every sense was alert. To start, Jinwoo announced, "We have banchan. These are small side dishes that go with the main meal." Chef So-min Lee appeared with the first course. She carried a large tray filled with colorful small bowls. Each bowl contained a different preparation of vegetables, pickles, or salads. 12 different preparations, So-min said proudly, setting bowls around each table. Kimchi, pickled radish, seasoned spinach, bean sprouts, cucumber salad. The aliens stared at the banchan like they were looking at bombs. 12 different chemical compounds, Commander Thextar whispered to his aide. Each one a different toxin, War Chief Morden agreed quietly. A full-spectrum biological assault, Admiral Grixoth concluded. Hyojin picked up her chopsticks and took a bite of kimchi. The fermented cabbage crunched pleasantly. Perfect amount of spice, she said. All three alien leaders watched her chew and swallow. They waited for her to fall over dead. Instead, she smiled and took another bite. The fermentation process is fascinating, Hyojin continued, speaking to the aliens. We use natural bacteria to preserve the vegetables. It creates complex flavors and helps with digestion. Bacteria. Thextar's scales turned bright red. She admits to eating bacteria. Living bacteria, Morden added in horror. Weaponized bacteria, Grixoth finished. Jinwoo also began eating. He mixed different banchan together, creating new combinations of flavors. Try the pickled radish with the spinach, he suggested to the aliens. The crunch and the smoothness work really well together. The aliens did not move. Is everything all right? So-min asked, noticing their hesitation. Would you like me to explain what's in each dish? Please, Commander Thextar said carefully. We wish to understand what we are consuming. Of course, So-min pointed to each bowl. This is kimchi, fermented napa cabbage with garlic, ginger, and red pepper. This is oi muchim, cucumber salad with vinegar and sesame oil. This is kong namul, seasoned soybean sprouts. This is mu sayang chai, pickled radish. With each description, the aliens looked more terrified. Fermented, pickled, vinegar, raw vegetables. Everything sounded like chemical warfare. And the red substance? Admiral Grixoth asked, pointing at the kimchi. Gochugaru, Korean red pepper flakes, So-min said happily. It gives the kimchi its beautiful color and spicy kick. Spicy kick, War Chief Morden repeated weakly. The human admits the food will attack us, his aide whispered. Ensign Taehyun Choi watched the aliens' reactions with growing worry. He had suspected this might happen. Maybe we should start with something milder, he suggested quietly to Jinwoo. Nonsense, Jinwoo replied. This is perfect. Food should have flavor. He took a big bite of kimchi and smiled. The crunch was perfect. The fermentation had created that tangy, complex taste that made Korean food special. To him, it was delicious. To the aliens, he had just eaten pure acid and smiled about it. Commander Thextar made a decision. If the Deathworlders could eat this poison, so could he. He picked up a piece of kimchi with his claws and put it in his mouth. The flavor hit him like an explosion. Spicy, sour, crunchy, complex. His taste buds had never experienced anything like it. His scales turned bright yellow with shock. Is it acceptable? Hyojin asked hopefully. Thextar could not speak. His mouth was on fire, but he was not dead. Somehow the burning sensation was interesting. War Chief Morden watched Thextar survive the kimchi. If a Vorthak could handle Deathworlder food, so could a Kithara. He grabbed a piece of pickled radish and bit down. The sour taste made all four of his eyes water. But again, no death. Just intense flavor. Admiral Grixoth decided to try the cucumber salad. It seemed the safest option. The sesame oil coated his crystal tongue and the vinegar made his whole body tingle. But he was still alive. These are side dishes? Grixoth asked in amazement. Just the beginning, Mi Young-jung said, cheerfully. Wait until you see the main course. She gestured to So-min, who was wheeling out a cart full of raw meat. Thin slices of beef marinated in dark sauce. Thick ribs covered in red paste. pork belly cut into perfect squares. "This is the meat course," Somin announced. "Bulgogi, galbi, and samgyeopsal will cook it right here at the table." She began lighting the grills. Small flames danced under metal grates. The smell of gas and heat filled the air. The aliens watched in fascination and terror as Somin placed the raw meat on the hot grills. The meat began to sizzle immediately. Fat dripped into the flames, causing small flare-ups. Smoke rose from each table. "She's burning the food," Thextar said in wonder. "On purpose," Mordoon added. "And it smells." Grixoth paused, searching for words. "Good?" The humans were completely comfortable with the fire and smoke. They chatted and laughed while meat cooked inches from their faces. They turned the pieces, with metal tongs like they were playing with the flames. "The char marks add flavor," Jinwoo explained, flipping a piece of bulgogi. "And cooking it fresh means it stays juicy." The aliens realized they were watching Deathworlders in their natural element. These beings were so comfortable with fire and danger that they used both for entertainment. They cooked their food with flames while having casual conversation. Commander Thextar felt something he had never experienced before: respect mixed with terror. These humans were not trying to intimidate anyone. They were just being themselves. And being themselves meant casually mastering elements that other species feared. The meat finished cooking. Somin placed the grilled pieces on small plates. "Please try some," she said to the aliens. "It's best while it's hot." The three alien leaders looked at the charred meat. It smelled incredible. But it was cooked with fire by Deathworlders. How could something so dangerous smell so good? They were about to find out. The grilled meat sat on the plate, still steaming from the fire. The smell filled the dining hall, rich, smoky, and somehow comforting. The humans reached for the meat with their chopsticks like this was the most natural thing in the world. "Commander." Thextar stared at a piece of bulgogi. The thin beef was dark brown with black char marks. It looked like it had been through a battle and lost. "This is edible?" he asked. "More than edible," Jinwoo said, taking a big bite. "It's delicious. The marinade has soy sauce, garlic, pear, and sesame oil. The fire brings out all the flavors." "Fire brings out flavors," Thextar repeated slowly. His scales shifted to confused orange. Diplomat Kyung-Soo Yoon had joined them for the main course. He was an older man with kind eyes and a warm smile. "Food is very important in Korean culture," he explained to the aliens. "We believe sharing a meal creates bonds between people." "Bonds?" War Chief Morden's forearms trembled slightly. "You use food to capture enemies?" No, Kyung-Soo laughed. "To make friends. When you eat together, you learn about each other. You share stories, jokes, memories." Young Ho Nam, the cultural attaché, sat down with them. He was young and enthusiastic about everything. "Let me tell you about Korean barbecue traditions," he said excitedly. "Families gather around grills just like this. Grandparents teach children how to cook. Everyone helps with the grilling and shares the food." The aliens looked confused. This did not sound like Deathworlder behavior. "Grandparents?" Admiral Grixoth asked. "Your elderly participate in fire cooking?" "Oh yes." Young-ho smiled. "My grandmother makes the best galbi in Seoul. She's been grilling for 60 years. 60 years of fire training," Morden whispered to his aide. Young-ho continued his story, not realizing how the aliens interpreted his words. "When I was little, my whole family would gather for barbecue. My cousins and I would fight over who got to flip the meat. My aunts would prepare dozens of banchan dishes. My uncles would argue about the best way to marinate beef." "Child soldiers, trained in fire combat," Thextar translated quietly. "Extended family units conducting chemical warfare research," Grixoth added. "But it was so much fun," Young-ho said warmly. "The smell of cooking meat, everyone talking and laughing, trying different combinations of food. Some nights we would grill for hours. Hours of continuous burning," Morden noted with horrified respect. Dr. Hai-Jin Park noticed the aliens still had not eaten any meat. "Would you like me to prepare a piece for you?" she offered. "I can choose something mild." She picked up a piece of the least charred bulgogi and placed it on Commander Thextar's plate. This one is cooked medium. Not too much char, but still flavorful. Thextar looked at the meat. Every instinct told him not to eat fire-cooked food prepared by a Deathworlder. But his warrior pride was stronger than his fear. If humans could eat this, so could he. He took a careful bite. The flavor was incredible. Sweet from the pear marinade, salty from the soy sauce, smoky from the grill. The meat was tender and juicy. It was nothing like he expected. It was not painful or dangerous. It was pleasant. He struggled for words. This is good. You like it? So-min beamed with pride. Try it with some rice and kimchi. War Chief Morden watched Thextar eat the bulgogi and survive. More than survive, enjoy it. He grabbed a piece of galbi from his plate. The pork rib was sticky with marinade and black from the grill. When he bit down, the meat fell off the bone. The sauce was sweet and spicy at the same time. His mandibles, designed for tearing apart enemies, worked perfectly for enjoying barbecue. How is this possible? He buzzed in amazement. Possible? Mi Young-jung asked. What do you mean? This food, it tastes good. It is not weapon. It is not poison. Of course not. Mi Young laughed. It's dinner. Why would we poison our guests? Admiral Grixoth tried the samgyeopsal, grilled pork belly. The fat had rendered perfectly, leaving the meat crispy outside and tender inside. His crystal body pulsed with surprised golden light. Young-ho noticed their reactions. You seem surprised by the taste. We expected... Thextar paused. We expected Deathworlder food to be dangerous. Dangerous? Kyung-soo looked puzzled. Korean food is about comfort and community. When someone is sad, we make them soup. When someone is celebrating, we prepare a feast. Food is how we show we care. The aliens exchanged glances. This was not the Deathworlder philosophy they had expected. You use food to show emotion? Grixoth asked. Always, Jinwoo said. Happy food, sad food, celebration food, comfort food. Every feeling has a dish. What feeling is this food? Morden asked, gesturing at the barbecue. Friendship, Young-ho said immediately. This is food you share with people you want to know better. Food you make when you want to welcome someone into your family. Commander Thextar's scales turned soft blue, a color that meant understanding was beginning. You invited us to share friendship food. Of course, Heejin said. You traveled so far to meet us. We wanted to give you our best. War Chief Morden put down his chopsticks. We came here expecting weapons. We prepared for battle. We thought you would try to kill us with your Deathworld food. Kill you? So-min looked shocked. With food? That's terrible. Food should bring joy, not death. But you are Deathworlders, Grixoth said quietly. You survive on a planet that kills everything. You must be the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. Jinwoo and his team looked at each other. Finally, they understood the aliens' fear. Yes, Earth can be dangerous, Jinwoo said carefully. We have storms, earthquakes, wild animals. But that's exactly why we learn to take care of each other. When the world is harsh, Kyung-soo added, you must find ways to be kind. We learned to make beautiful things from difficult situations, Young-ho said. We took tough vegetables and made them into kimchi. We took simple ingredients and made them into feasts. You turned survival into art, Thextar said slowly. We turned necessity into joy. Hyojin agreed. Admiral Grixoth's crystal body pulsed with thoughtful purple light. So your dangerous world did not make you dangerous. It made you creative. And caring, Mi-young added. When life is hard, sharing makes it easier. War Chief Mordoon looked around the table. Humans and aliens were eating together. The fire, grill still burned. But now they seemed warm instead of threatening. The smell of cooking meat was comforting instead of frightening. This is not what we expected from Deathworlders, he admitted. What did you expect? Taehyun asked. Weapons, threats, displays of power. This is our display of power, Jinwoo said with a smile. We can take raw ingredients and turn them into something that brings people together. We can use fire to create instead of destroy. We can turn a dangerous world into a home. Commander Thextar reached for another piece of bulgogi. Your power is not in destroying. It is in building. Building what? Young Ho asked. Connections, Thextar said thoughtfully. Between people, between flavors, between species. The aliens continued eating. Each bite taught them something new, about humans. These beings had faced a harsh world and responded with creativity, kindness, and incredible food. Morden tried mixing kimchi with his galbi, the way he had seen Jinwoo do it. The combination was perfect, spicy, sweet, sour, and smoky all at once. Now I understand, he said quietly. Understand what? Hyejin asked. Why other species fear you? Not because you are violent. Because you make impossible things seem easy. Like, what? Like turning enemies into friends with a single meal. The dining hall had changed completely. Where before there was tension and fear, now there was warmth and laughter. The alien warriors sat relaxed in their chairs, chopsticks in their hands, trying different combinations of food. Commander Thextar was carefully wrapping bulgogi and lettuce with rice and sauce, copying what he had seen Jinwoo do. His scales had turned a peaceful green color, something his aide had never seen before. War Chief Morden was teaching one of his soldiers how to flip meat on the grill. Wait for the edges to brown, he buzzed excitedly, then turn it once. The humans know what they are doing. Admiral Grixoth had been quiet for several minutes, his crystal body pulsing with thoughtful colors. Finally he spoke. Captain Kim, I must apologize. Apologize? Jinwoo looked surprised. For what? We came here with wrong ideas about your species. We thought Deathworlders would be savage and violent. Instead, you are hospitable. We're just being ourselves, Hyejin said with a smile. That is exactly the problem, Grixoth replied. Being yourselves means turning fire into friendship. It means making poison into pleasure. It means creating joy from ingredients that should create fear. Young Honam laughed. When you put it that way, we do sound pretty strange. Not strange, Commander Thextar said firmly. Remarkable. Chef So-Min Lee returned with dessert. Sweet, rice cakes and fruit. But she noticed something was wrong. The aliens had eaten most of their food, but their special nutrient cube sat untouched. You didn't eat your safe food, she said with concern. Was our food too spicy? Too strange? War Chief Morden looked embarrassed. The truth is, your food is better than anything we have ever tasted, but we prepared those cubes specially for your biology, Dr. Park said. They have all the nutrients you need. They are functional, Admiral Grixoth admitted, but they have no soul. Soul? Taehyun asked. Your food has stories in every bite, Thextar explained. The kimchi speaks of patience, waiting for fermentation. The bulgogi speaks of care, marinating for hours. The banchan speaks of abundance, 12 small gifts instead of one large dish. Every flavor teaches us about your culture, Morden added. Your nutrient cubes only teach us about nutrition. So-Min wiped away a small tear. That's the most beautiful thing anyone has ever said about my cooking. Captain Jinwoo made a decision. Would you like to try making Korean food yourselves? The aliens looked surprised. You would teach us your secrets? Grixoth asked. They're not secrets, Mi-young Jung laughed. They're recipes. We share recipes with friends. Friends, Thextar repeated the word carefully. Yes, we are friends now. So-Min brought out fresh ingredients. She showed Commander Thextar how to marinate beef for bulgogi. His claws were surprisingly gentle as he mixed soy sauce, garlic, and pear juice. Young Ho taught War Chief Morden how to prepare vegetables for kimchi. The Kythera's 4 arms made him incredibly efficient at chopping and mixing. Dr. Park worked with Admiral Grixoth to create a crystal-safe version of Korean soup. His crystalline structure actually helped him sense the perfect balance of flavors. This is amazing, Thextar said as he worked. You are teaching us to create, not just consume. That's what food is about, Kyung-soo explained. Anyone can eat. But cooking is an art. It takes practice, patience, and love. Love? Mordun looked up from his kimchi preparation. Every good dish starts with love, So-min said seriously. Love for the people you're feeding, love for the ingredients, love for the process. We have never thought of food as love, Grixoth admitted. What do you think of it as? Jinwoo asked. Fuel, necessity, survival. Well, it can be all of those things too, Hyejin said. But it can also be so much more. As the evening continued, something remarkable happened. The aliens began sharing stories of their own food cultures. Commander Thextar told them about Vorthak hunting traditions. War Chief Mordun described Kithara hive-sharing rituals. Admiral Grixoth explained how Zalani grew crystal fruits in harmony gardens. Your species also use food for connection, Young-ho observed. But not like this, Thextar said, gesturing around the room. Not with such joy. Maybe you could try, Mi-young suggested gently. Add some joy to your food traditions. How? Mordun asked. Start with the recipes we taught you tonight, So-min said, but adapt them for your own cultures. Make Vorthak bulgogi, create Kithara kimchi, invent Zalani barbecue. The aliens looked at each other with excitement. They could take these human ideas and make them their own. Admiral Grixoth stood up suddenly. I have a confession to make, he said. Everyone turned to look at him. Before coming here, I programmed my body to detect toxins in your food. I was ready to change color and warn my soldiers if you tried to poison us. Did you detect any toxins? Taehyun asked nervously. No, Grixoth replied. But I detected something else. Something I have never encountered before. What? Jinwoo asked. Happiness. Your food contains measurable amounts of happiness. The humans laughed, but Grixoth was serious. I am not joking. There are chemical compounds in food prepared with joy that are different from food prepared without care. Your chef cooks with genuine happiness, and it changes the molecular structure of the meal. So-min blushed. I do love cooking. And we can taste it, Thextar added. Every bite feels like a gift. War Chief Mordun suddenly did something that shocked everyone. He began removing his ceremonial helmet. In Kithara culture, removing your helmet in front of strangers was the highest sign of trust and respect. What are you doing? His aide whispered urgently. I am showing our new friends my true face, Mordun replied. They have fed us with honesty. I will honor them with honesty. His face was insect-like but gentle, with large compound eyes that reflected the dining room lights like jewels. The humans smiled at him with genuine warmth. Thank you for trusting us, Jinwoo said softly. Commander Thextar and Admiral Grixoth exchanged glances. Then they too began removing their formal diplomatic masks and barriers. For the first time, humans and aliens were seeing each other as they truly were. This is unprecedented, Kyung-soo whispered to Jinwoo. No, Jinwoo corrected. This is what food does. It makes strangers into family. The formal peace treaty signing was scheduled for the next day. But as they sat together, sharing recipes and stories, everyone knew the real peace had already been made. It had been built one bite at a time, one shared laugh at a time, one moment of understanding at a time. Admiral Grixoth raised his cup of tea. To the humans, he said, who taught us that the most dangerous species in the galaxy are those who can turn enemies into friends with a single meal. To new friends, Jinwoo replied, raising his own cup. To Korean barbecue, Commander, Thextar added with his first genuine smile. To sharing what makes us happy, War Chief Mordun concluded. They drank together as equals, as friends, as beings who had learned that the best way to survive in a dangerous universe was to take care of each other. The next morning, Admiral Grixoth sent a message to his home planet. Have located the secret weapon of the Deathworlders. It is not their ability to destroy. It is their ability to create joy from nothing and share it freely with strangers. Recommend immediate cultural exchange program. Also, please send crystalline cookware. We have much to learn. The treaty was signed that afternoon. But more importantly, the galaxy's first interspecies cookbook was begun that evening. It would be called Recipes for Peace and would become the most popular book in galactic history, and it all started with Korean barbecue, served with love,